Hi, James McDonald. This is my DCM trainer video, how to make the perfect French toast. So, firstly, when starting off to make the French toast, it's important that we use the correct bread. It's important to use the correct bread when making the French toast. And why is it important to use the correct bread? It's important that we use the correct bread because you want to have a bread that has a tight crumb with very little air bubbles in it. So the tight crumb allows it to soak up as much liquid as possible. And it's very important as well, when we're using the correct bread, that French toast actually means last bread in Latin. So we need the texture and the flavor, which means this bread actually needs to be dried out, which a lot of people make this mistake when making their French toast. So thanks for your question. That's actually very important, why we're supposed to use this correct type of bread. And the bread I'm using today actually is a brioche loaf, not just a normal sliced pan. So as I said from the question, we need to make sure the bread is dried out correctly. So you need to let this dry in the oven for about 200 degrees. So here's our bread at start, and here's some bread that I've compared to the training video. Very simple. It's just dried out. It's just been dried out. It's still lovely and soft, but it's just been dried out at the moment. So the next step of our bread, after making all that, is we do need to make our batter. The batter is obviously very important in this. So first thing we want to do is we want to add our cinnamon into our little baking tray. Now this is of course optional. If you don't like cinnamon, there's no need to add cinnamon into it. We're going to add a pinch of salt. And Mary? Yeah. No, we add salt because salt actually is a flavor enhancer. And I know French toast is supposed to be sweet, but we're adding salt in to make this, the saltiness actually brings out more sweetness. Now, I like a bit of zest in my thing, so I have the lemon here. So I'm just gonna flick off a little bit of lemon zest. That's all. Obviously, this is completely optional as well. You can add orange zest or any other kind of fruit you want. Now, very important thing, we're not trying to be too healthy here, so we're gonna add a little bit of double cream into this now. So double cream, about 1 cup of double cream added into our French toast. There's gonna be that creamy kind of custardy kind of feel to it, right? So now, most importantly, in our French toast, we need to add our eggs. You want to use about a 2-to-1 ratio of eggs to cream. So I have 1 cup of cream inside here, so I'm going to use 2 eggs. This is used to hold everything together. So we're going to break our eggs. And now, very importantly here, we're not going to whisk our eggs in together. Why don't we whisk them in together? We're actually going to fold them in together because with the dry ingredients, we can get it more uniformly kind of spread out throughout the batter. So you're not getting one bite that'll be strictly just cinnamon, or one bite that's just a lemony bite. So we're just going to slowly kind of mix this gently, kind of fold everything in. Just fold it all up and through. So we're not whisking. We're folding everything in so we have no clumps left from the dry ingredients. That's the most important thing about this recipe, is to get everything in uniformly when you're using dry ingredients like this. So thanks for your question, and that's why I'm using a wooden spoon here to whisk this and not a whisk. Right. So once you've everything broken up nicely, and you can take a look into it, and you see you've no more clumps of dry ingredients. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to soak the bread. Many people just put their French toast in it, flip it over and back. But what we're going to do is we're going to soak the bread for a little bit of time, 15 to 20 minutes if you can. For the purpose of this demonstration, obviously I don't want to take up any 15 minutes of your time. So we are just going to soak, we're going to soak it maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But if you can, it's better to soak it for 15 or 20 minutes so everything can be soaked through the middle. So while we're leaving that to do that, we're actually going to move over to our stove here. first thing we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a pan, and we're just going to place our pan onto our stove here. We're actually going to put it on a very, very low heat, because you don't want to cook your bread like burn it. You want it to go low and slow so everything can move up through the middle of it. So we're going to heat our pan up, and what we're going to use is butter. And to know, we're going to use butter as our, so it nothing sticks to the bottom. And you're going to know through, your thing, if the if it's too hot. If the butter kind of starts to like sizzle very, very quickly, you want the butter to like slowly be melting down with very few bubbles in it. So as you can see, our ring here is red, so it's on, and we're going to just put our butter in here. We're going to just let it sit and melt slowly. And obviously when you're inside in the kitchen handling any ingredients like this, it's obviously very important that you've washed your hands beforehand and done everything. And have everything prepped out nice and in front of you. Right, so this has been soaking for a little bit, so we're going to see. I'm just going to tap the top of it there to see if it's soaked through, and it hasn't. So I might just give these a little turn just to speed up the process, because obviously I don't want to waste any of your time. So as we're doing that, we're feeling in. We want it nice and we want to have a squish down, so we can feel the batter kind of inside it. So we're going to leave that maybe for a few more minutes. And while we're waiting for that, you can wait for our pan to settle. As you can see, the butter is slowly melting. I'm going to take it off the heat now very quickly. It's slowly melting and it's not bubbling. It is very, very low and slow. That's the best way to make your French toast. So while we're waiting for that bread to soak, we're going to move over to maybe our toppings. Now, obviously your toppings are up to you, whatever kind of toppings you want to have on your French toast is thing. I'm going for just some white chocolate chips. I have a little bit of powdered sugar here, and I've of course got some fruit because we won't be too bad. But obviously up to you. Now I will say, if you are serving these to anyone younger with your fruit, I would recommend that you chop up all your fruit just so there's no choking hazards. Like I have grapes here, I've chopped the grapes up into halves. So if young children do want to have this lovely French toast, there is no risk of them choking on a grape. That's perfect. So now, with our French toast, it's been soaking now for a good bit of time, maybe 5 minutes. So we're going to take it out now, and we're going to fry it. We're going to fry it up on the thing, like I said, very low and slow. Right, and you can how do we know when the French toast is done? So it's simple. You can use your fingers just by pushing down on the French toast, and if you're able to push down and you're able to get batter like coming up through the sides of your finger, then you'll know your French toast is ready to go onto the pan. So perfect here. Our French toast, our butter is very, very low and slow. Now it's not bubbling up. It's bubbling up very little now at all. Just very light bubbles. I've only it set to 1 at the moment, so that's, I'm gonna say, the ideal temperature. And now we're just gonna move. I'm just gonna move over, and we're gonna put our toast in. This is the important part. We're gonna go low and slow. We're gonna go very low and very slow with this French toast. So once our pan is buttered, we're going to actually press down. Now, to know when your French toast is actually done on either side, it'll be lovely and brown on either side of it. And you're going to use that same method again. Do you know how you used your finger to push down and see if liquid came out soft, that it was soaked all the way through it? You're actually going to put your finger down on it again to make sure that there is no more liquid seeping through it, that it is all the way through in the middle. So here's our French toast. It's been on there for about maybe a minute or so. So we're just going to flip it over. We're going to flip it over again. So there we go. So it's getting that, so far there's a lovely brown kind of golden crisp on it. So yeah, so now we'll just wait, and we'll wait, cook off our French toast, and once it's ready, we'll get ready for plating. And of course, you can plate it up whatever way you think so. Whatever you like. If you like maple syrup, if you like Nutella, if you like fruit, or if you like a plain at all, that's how you make it. Just make sure, obviously, take your finger, you're going to push it down And once no liquid is coming up, then your French toast is cooked all the way through. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you for letting me train you. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to come to me afterwards, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Thanks very much.